Hey hockey player, in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can dominate in playoffs this year. Look, things are coming up real soon right now for a lot of you, so I want to fast track your results. Fast tracking your results means you have to balance between your training volume and how much you recover. The thing is, a lot of hockey athletes, they want to perform so much better in the season, but they run into this bad teeter-totter scenario where they're doing a lot in order to become a better hockey player, but they're actually decreasing their own performance because they're not allowing their body to properly recover in between dry land sessions, in between games, in between practices. They don't have the proper balance. And when it comes to balancing all the aspects of hockey performance, you need to do it with a very effective and uniquely designed training schedule. Look, hockey athletes, they're the real hybrid athlete. They need to be bigger, they need to be stronger, they need to have stability, they need balance, they need coordination, reaction time, and they need all of this in a framework and functionality to where you can have high levels of conditioning and high levels of speed and high levels of agility the entire game. Hockey athletes need everything. They can't just focus on one thing like, say, a marathon runner could, where you just need the aerobic system to be firing and on all cylinders. So when we have a shorter time frame to get ready for playoffs, let's say 5 weeks or 4 weeks, if we've got a little bit of time before playoffs and we want to become the best possible version of ourselves, we need to look at all of those qualities and then put them into a schedule that's going to allow them to dominate in playoffs. This is how I like to set up schedules for hockey athletes who haven't been training at all during the in-season in terms of an off-ice perspective, or hockey athletes who have been doing a little bit of training but have kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit due to scheduling issues, traveling, life problems, whatever it's going to be. If you haven't been training during the in-season, or if you haven't been consistent, or if you have been training but you haven't been on a hockey specific system, these would all be reasons to where you need to fast track your success by beginning on a balanced schedule. Monday, we would perform what I refer to as resistance-based conditioning. With this workout, you're hitting a lot of birds with one stone, because when you look at sports science literature, there's something known as fitness characteristic decay rates. And I know that sounds fancy, but it's really not fancy. It simply represents how long can you go without training in order to start losing muscle mass, or in order to start losing strength, or losing explosive power. All of these things. You have a decay rate where you progressively get smaller, weaker, less conditioned, all of these things. But with a resistance-based conditioning setup, you're able to hit a lot of birds with one stone, because we're doing an anaerobic conditioning workout, but we're doing it in a circuit fashion with resistance. So you're utilizing resistance, because looking at sports science literature, if we expose our muscle groups to at least 80% of our 1 rep max once per week, we're going to be able to maintain our muscle mass and strength even if we've decreased our training volume. It's so much easier to maintain something than it is to gain something. So you can bring training volume down, and the resistance being applied to the body is telling the body, hey, we're going to maintain all your strength and we're going to maintain all your size. But since you're performing this in a circuit fashion, you're able to get this C part here. You're getting that conditioning effect from the workout. So right away, we are improving our strength, our muscle mass, and our conditioning in an anaerobic hockey-specific way in day 1 of our overall dominating playoff schedule. Tuesday and Thursday, I've got RM here to represent restorative mobility. Hockey athletes need mobility for optimal edge work. Hockey athletes need mobility so that they can unlock their hips and do mohawk turns and have excellent stride length and stride frequency. Hockey athletes need mobility in order to prevent injury out on the ice. There are so many reasons why you need to do mobility drills, but But there are even more reasons why you need to do hockey-specific mobility drills. It's not enough to just go do a stretching routine. Why is that relevant to the Mohawk turn? Why is that relevant to a skater's stride length and stride frequency? If you're not answering these questions, then you might just be doing a mobility routine that's not actually going to transfer to an on-ice setting. So I like to incorporate hockey-specific mobility during the in-season because it doesn't really matter how strong and powerful and big you are if you don't move fluidly out in the ice. That all comes down to mobility. But I do it in a restorative way on both of these days. So restorative mobility to me is known as active recovery to you. You're able to enhance the rate at which you recover because active recovery modalities actually do allow you to recover faster than doing nothing at all. But you're doing an active recovery session that's still directly relevant and sport specific to improving your hockey performance. So we perform this workout that's pretty hard on Monday, but then the next day comes around and we do a restorative mobility session to really recover, but do it in a way that's still going to allow us to become a better hockey player. When Wednesday rolls around, we perform what I call speed-based conditioning. Speed-based conditioning, this works on power enhancement. So power is different than strength. If you and I could both squat 405 pounds, but you could squat it a lot faster than me, then you would be considered the more powerful athlete. Why? Our force production's the exact same. We have the same squat. But since you did it faster than me, your rate of force production is a lot faster. And your rate of force production is what's going to be improving your quick feet, your explosive speed, your stop-start speed with your agility. All of these things are correlated to improving power within your physiology. And when you do it in a speed-based conditioning manner, what are we getting now? Well, we're improving our speed in a hockey-specific way because we're incorporating vertical power-based exercises, horizontal power-based exercises, and lateral power-based exercises to get the most well-rounded effect to make you a better skater. But you're also performing this in a circuit fashion. You're doing it in a circuit fashion so you still get an anaerobic conditioning effect out of it. Whereas your resistance-based conditioning is very alactic capacity focused, your speed-based conditioning is alactic power focused. So that also sounds kind of fancy, but it just essentially means that this one's a lot better for your work capacity, and this one's a lot better for your work capacity at very high speeds. Those are two different trainable qualities. So incorporating the speed-based conditioning circuit is another way we are fast-tracking your results to become the best version of yourself before playoffs. Now, look at what we've already done so far. We've talked about 4 days, and we're going to maintain, or in most cases actually, if you haven't been training during the in-season, or if you haven't been consistent with your in-season training, or if you haven't been on a hockey-specific program during the in-season, you're actually going to gain strength and gain muscle by doing this workout and still improve your anaerobic conditioning. Your restorative mobility is in place so that you're moving fluidly like an athlete out in the ice and optimizing your muscle and your power and your strength to get the best possible stride length and stride frequency. And then you got your velocity-based work to improve your speed with the speed-based conditioning, and again, getting another impact on anaerobic conditioning levels. So we are crushing the game already with this schedule. Friday is when we start to bridge everything together. Friday, this is coordination, balance, and reaction time. I really like to utilize coordination, balance, and reaction time drills for my hockey athletes because the mental game is just as important as the physical game. You talk to NHL athletes, and so many of them say in interviews that this game is 80% mental, or this game is 90% mental. And it's just true, because it is the brain that tells the body what to do, and not the other way around. It's the brain that has the offensive and defensive awareness. It's the brain that's tracking the puck. It's the brain that controls your reaction time. It's the brain that controls everything that your body's doing from a coordination and balance perspective so that you can optimize your performance. So why would a hockey program not include mental training? You can think of coordination, balance, and reaction time days like taking your brain to the gym. It's going to improve everything that you're doing with all of these days. And the best part, it's still restorative. So the coordination, balance, and reaction time drills, they're still active recovery modalities because you aren't what you can do. You only are what you can effectively recover from. We've only got 2 hard sessions per week here, but we're scheduling it in a unique way in order to check all of the boxes for hockey performance. And then we're including 3 different active recovery modalities so that you're recovering better from your dryland sessions, but you're also recovering better from your on-ice practices and games. And then Saturday and Sunday, they are completely off. Do you have to run your week exactly like this? No, you don't. This could be easily wrote down as day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, all the way to day 7. And then you could plug and implement the week the way in which you want. What I would recommend is not performing the resistance-based conditioning or speed-based conditioning days within 2 days of a game. So if you were to have a game on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, that would be fine on this schedule because it's a couple of days away from your last hard workout. You can mix and match these around. If you were to do a game on Tuesday, then you could perform your restorative mobility here and then your game day here and then get to your resistance-based conditioning on the Wednesday. There's many ways in which you can structure this. The main rule is just no hard workout within 2 days of an actual game. But beyond this, there's even one more awesome thing that you can do to improve your performance from all levels, and that is post-game cooldowns. This is something that's super underrated and with hockey athletes, but if you want to fast track your results, you can improve your aerobic conditioning so that you can match what's going on from an anaerobic perspective here already in the schedule. Post-game cooldown is done at a lower intensity to improve aerobic conditioning. But some athletes don't need as much of a post-game cooldown as other athletes. If you are on the penalty kill units, if you are on the power play units, and you're a real go-to player on the team, and you get 25 plus minutes of ice time every game, you're only going to need like a 10-minute cooldown on a stationary bike to really flush out, create a flushing effect of getting the fatigue byproducts out of the muscle, getting new blood in there. A lot of these things that support recovery a lot faster. But if you're a fourth liner, or if you're a healthy scratch, then you're somebody who didn't get nearly as much ice time, so you didn't get nearly as much training stimulation on your body. So you're going to have to do a little bit more in order to maintain your fitness at a high level because you're not being exposed to as much on-ice training volume as the player who's playing a lot more minutes. So an athlete who is playing a very low amount of minutes, they would do a longer low-intensity cooldown, or they can even introduce some intervals into their post-game cooldown in order to replicate the heart rates that you would be hitting during a game setting so that you can do the same thing as your high-performance players and bring your fitness up to the next level. That's what would be implemented on top of all of this. And if you're interested in utilizing this formula, I call it the playoff enhancer formula. The playoff enhancer formula is something I've created for the hockey athletes out there that really want to fast track their success and enter playoffs a completely different player so that they can dominate out there on the ice. This is a brand new program that is a done-for-you version of everything included here. So if you're interested, if this all sounded like something that could work with you, work with your schedule, and is something that aligns with your vision leading up to playoffs, then it's something that you need. And the best part of it is there's a built-in taper and peaking phase as well, so that you're performing all the training volume you need to check every box for hockey performance, but then you have a built-in taper and peaking schedule in order to take your performance to a brand new height. All right, if you like this video, you found it beneficial, smash that thumbs up button and also subscribe to our hockey training channel. Don't forget to click on the link in the description and the comment section below for the brand new playoff enhancer formula. Let's go.